Hey guys, Dave Ray here, DB Restorations. How you doing this morning? It's getting this fire going. Boy, it's cold in here this morning, but I wanted to show you a little bit on our 69 Roadrunner here. This beautiful Bahama yellow car is getting some sheet metal work done, as you guys can see. I got the quarter panel on there, along with trunk 4 and outer wheelhouse. You can kind of see in there, and the trunk extension. Let me tell you guys, you gotta love AMD sheet metal. These guys do fantastic work. They got great replacement panels. But I'm telling you guys, if you're doing this at home and you think that you're gonna cut the quarter panels off of this car and they're just gonna bolt right on there, just weld right on there, and you're not gonna have any issues whatsoever, think again. As much as we love these guys and the fit that they do and everything else, this does not come without any modification. I mean, anytime you deal with aftermarket parts, whether it be sheet metal, whether it be bolt-on parts, it doesn't really matter. In the aftermarket world, there's always going to be some kind of modifications that you need to do to make things fit. And I'll tell you, AMD, these guys are awesome. I love their sheet metal. And just want to let you guys know before you undertake something like this, that you need to know what you're getting into. But the most important thing is when you start this car, all your original sheet metal that's on the car, hopefully, majority of it is there. Take measurements of everything. Get a notebook, take all your measurements. I measure this car 3 or 4 times over to make sure all my numbers are correct. I draw little maps and pictures on notebooks to make sure that I got all the measurements documented, so when I start putting this car back together, it goes back together the same way that it came apart and to the same measurements and specifications that it was to begin with. So I'll just show you some of the issues I've had with getting this on there. You can kind of see this lip right here on the edge of the trunk lip here on the edge of the quarter panel. I ended up cutting probably over 1/4 of an inch off. So a lot of times when these things are in the dies, the sheet metal is going to overhang. If you can kind of look, here's your original quarter panel. You can see how short the lip is on that one there. And this one was substantially longer, so I cut it down into where it's got the same reveal that the original one has. And as you can see, I'm doing each side of this car independently. I like to do one side at a time and go over and take measurements off the other one and see where placement is, just in case, so I don't have any issues whatsoever while I'm doing it. I was able to save the inner wheelhouses on this car by just doing 2 little patch panels. You can see one right there, and then there's one kind of up there you can kind of see on the edge. But the outer wheelhouses are on. I've probably taken this quarter panel on and off probably 6 times. And it's still just screwed in. I use self-tapping screws. You can see one there, one there, one there, and so on up the body. And of course, vice grips. I got a ton of vice grips. There's vice grips stuck all over this thing, holding this lower panel in place, along with some self-tappers. So the only thing I've welded on this car so far is the outer wheelhouse. That's it. And the outer wheelhouse probably went on and off of there 3 times along with the quarter panel to make sure everything was perfect and exactly where I wanted it before I welded it on there. And you can see I started to do some spot welds. I'm not done spot welding that all the way around, but there's still some grinding to do. But right now I'm just getting all my quarter panel placed exactly where I want it. I want to make sure my reveal right here is exactly the way it is on the other side. This is a tricky spot right here too with this other inner channel. And of course your seam, you want to make sure you get your seam just right as well. So I'm telling you guys, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience to get this done. And like I said, I can't stress enough how you need to measure, and make sure everything is right. So this quarter panel will not be welded on. I'll go ahead and weld on my trunk extension, finish doing all my plug welds on my trunk 4 whenever I get the other quarter panel on. So I'll basically weld on my outer wheelhouses, all my trunk 4, my trunk extensions, all the quarter panels will be bolted on. Then of course the deck lid's gonna go on, so I still gotta put the hinges on, the springs on, the deck lid will go on, everything will be just perfect before I weld those quarter panels on. So I want to make sure everything is right where it needs to be. So that'll be the last thing I weld. So it'll basically stay screwed together in place until I'm ready to do that. So as you can see on this car here, it's actually a pretty clean car. It's got a lot of little spotty rust you can see here through the floor. So this will get a complete new floor pan. It'll get a new hump. As you can see, somebody took a chunk out of it. They obviously changed the transmission in this at one time, or else the shifter and the linkage or whatnot. This is a 383 4-speed car in Bahama yellow with saddle bronze interior and the V21 hood blackout. So this is going to be a super cool car. Just got a little patch to put in there. The inner aprons are in great shape. And of course, you can see here, lower radiator support is tweaked. So we got another one right here from our friends at AMD. And of course, here's my left-hand outer wheelhouse that I still got to put in yet too. But other than that, the car came back from media. It was beautiful. It's really good shape. So we're getting her knocked out. Today I'm going to get this other quarter panel here cut off and start finishing up that trunk floor and everything else, and get our lower tail panel right here welded in as well. One more thing I want to show you too. If you look here, you can see these feet on this lower tail panel. I mean, in all reality, they're supposed to be up here. And so you can see not everything comes out perfect when you restamp aftermarket parts. So this here I'll actually end up cutting and shortening these up and getting them where they belong, but it'll all look factory when I get it all done. So if you're going in there thinking that you're going to buy these aftermarket panels and they're just going to go on there and you're not going to have any problem whatsoever, you're just going to put them on the car and weld them on, think again. There's a lot of work to do in these quarter panels and a lot of time and a lot of patience. So make sure you're in for the long haul if you're going to take on a project like this. If not, leave it to your professional body shop or whatnot and let these guys take care of it for you. All right, you guys. You guys take care. Have yourself a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll keep you guys posted on this car, and hopefully we'll have her all put together here after the first of the year, around middle of January I'm shooting for. So keep an eye open for that there, and you guys can see what she looks like. And as always, video is sponsored by Icebox Performance up there in Sweet Home, Oregon. They are the coolest party of rides, so let them know what they can build for you. Take care, you guys. Talk to you soon.